Natalie Sands lives with immeasurable torment. Early one morning, 4 years ago, a crazed man killed her mother and her 5-year-old son. Natalie, too, almost died after the attacker set her on fire. She suffered horrific burns, the scars of which will never disappear. But on assignment for 60 Minutes, Nine's Dimity Clancey reports Natalie's pain is compounded by two things she finds impossible to reconcile. The perpetrator of the crime has escaped trial due to mental illness. And worse, he's her father.
Natalie Sands is a fighter and a survivor. Her scars are a permanent reminder of just how lucky she is to be alive. Soaked in petrol, she was turned into a human fireball, burnt to the bone by her own dad.
You were burnt from head to toe?
Yes, 75 to 80% full thickness burns to engulf my whole body. But you never know how strong you are until you get lit on fire. And you don't have a choice. I didn't have a choice.
When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see?
It's like a new Nat.
A new Nat?
I look at myself and I'm just like, you're gonna go through all that fighting just to give up? No. I don't carry these scars for no reason.
It was a confronting scene for fire crews. 2 people outside a home, 1 badly burnt. But even more distressing was what they found inside.
Natalie's scars are far more than physical. Here on this quiet block in country New South Wales, not only was she critically injured, Natalie's son and mother were killed in an attack as terrifying as it was unthinkable.
I will never hold my son again. I will never see him grow up. I heard his last breath and saw the fire swallow him like a wave. You took my baby, you took my true love.
It's not lost on us how difficult doing something like this is. What gives you the strength to sit here today?
My mum and my son. Because if they can't talk, who's going to talk for them?
Natalie is speaking up because she feels silenced and powerless, caught in a system where there's no punishment and no sense of justice, where sympathy lies as much with the perpetrator as it does their victims.
In the eyes of the law, your father was sick, therefore he didn't know what he was doing and he doesn't deserve to be punished or found guilty. What do you say to that?
The system is so broken. We need change. I want to fight for change. Like, we could get some bikes and pull our bikes out and come riding out here.
Being a mum has always been everything to Natalie Sands. She had 2 boys. Her eldest is now 11, who we can't identify for legal reasons. Her youngest, Orlando. He just started school.
Tell me about Orlando. What was he like?
Happy, carefree. He was very nurturing and little hermit, like, stayed by my side, mummy's little boy.
No. Orlando was autistic and non-verbal. A sweet, happy little boy, content in his own world.
He would touch me, or he'd come up and put his hand, a little hand on my face, or just lay in my arms, and I just knew what he wanted.
You were his everything?
Yeah. We were connected beyond talking, beyond speech.
The tragedy is that Natalie wanted better for her boys. So in October 2019, she moved back home with her parents in Tamworth to save money for a better life. Her mother Antoinette was thrilled to be spending more time with her grandsons, but her father Richard wasn't his usual self.
In those couple of weeks that you were there, did you notice a difference in his behaviour or mental health?
It was like he was forgetful. Just a little bit forgetful, and he was worrying.
In the months before Natalie's arrival, her father had been admitted to hospital, disorientated and suffering hallucinations. On the morning of the 16th, he asked his wife to fill a jerry can with 10 litres of fuel. No one could have foreseen what was to come.
Looking back now, after everything that's happened, I can see the steps. My father never, ever got that amount of fuel.
Did you say anything when he asked for that?
No, because he had said that he needed it to mow the lawn. The fuel went in the back shed and he didn't mow the lawn.
5 a.m. the next day, Natalie and her boys were fast asleep when her father kicked open the bedroom door. He was clutching the fuel can and pouring petrol everywhere.
It's like I can see myself, it was like I cartwheeled. My body was at that door before my brain was. And I just jumped straight in front of him before he even stepped in the room. I had hold of his shoulders like this, around his neck, and I was just driving him back, pushing him away from my kids. I was screaming at him, "Dad, don't do this. Don't do this." I said, "I've got 2 beautiful kids in that room." I said, "Don't do this." And he just didn't want to stop.
Soaked in fuel and knowing she is in a struggle for her life, Natalie drives her father down the hallway into the kitchen.
The jerry can bounced on the floor and it was empty. I can hear it. It was like doof, doof, 2 times and it just stopped. And then he had a red lighter. And he had it up like this.
God, when you saw that lighter.
I was like, fuck. And he just went, shoo. When I just grabbed him, grabbed him. And I blew it out. And for some reason, I counted. And he lit it 5 times. And every time he lit it, I was blowing it out. The 6th time he lit it, as soon as he lit it, he pushed it into my chest. And that was it. And it was just went, the whole house ignited. I was walking up this hallway and I was watching my hands like this, and my hands were burning. They were melting like in front of me. I was like this, stuck like this, walking up this hallway. And then I heard my son sing out through the wall, and he must have been in panic. And he just sung out, "Mummy, what do I do?"
He would have been terrified.
Yeah, and I just told him to run. I said, "Run, baby." I just yelled at him. That's what I yelled at him. And he did his job. He ran.
Her eldest was safe, but Natalie, now consumed by fire, could only think of 5-year-old Orlando still asleep in his room.
And I went in the bedroom and I tried to close the door to give myself time, but this big ball of flames came up the top of the door. And I looked over to the left and I seen him laying there, and I just thought, if I grab him, I'm gonna burn him. And it was happening so fast.
With the fire quickly spreading, Natalie jumps out the window to roll on the grass and stop herself burning. Terribly injured, she is unable to get back to her little boy.
I didn't realise how badly burned I was. I didn't realise how high the window was. I was just trying to get back in that room. I can see him on the bed, laying there fast asleep. And it was just like a wave on a beach, but it was a wave of fire. I had to accept that there was nothing I could do. And then I just looked down at my little boy, my eldest, and I apologised to him. And I said, "I'm sorry, baby. Landy's gone. But we need to run." Like there was nothing more I could do. I had to save someone.
Alerted by neighbours, emergency services arrived to a scene of horror. Her father had already fled the scene.
This is an extremely sad and tragic situation for everyone involved, for those who have lost loved ones and the community of Tamworth.
Not only was Orlando dead and Natalie fighting to survive, it soon became clear Richard Sands had bludgeoned his wife to death before the fire was lit. He handed himself into police and confessed to his crimes. But as you'll see, this killer would never face trial.
The day that the hearing went ahead was the day I realised, that's it, he's won. That's what it felt like. He's gotten away with murder.
"4 years after being turned into a fireball by her own father, Natalie Sands is still recovering. With burns to 80% of her body, doctors thought she'd never survive. But battling through endless skin grafts and surgeries, the 30-year-old mum never gave in.
Just need full weight on it, because I'm going to get you to get real close with the feet.
Come on now.
All those big milestones that you had, you know, when that bed's coming up and you've still got a smile on your face.
Oh,
You could still laugh through those moments.
just because one horrible person had taken away so much, he didn't get that right to take away my smile and to take away my spirit. I think I get that from my mother. She had an amazing spirit.
Natalie spent 10 excruciating months in hospital. Her recovery, a testament to her determination and courage.
Turn and smile.
That first step.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Like I'm up. Like I'm up. And the first thing the nurse was like, "Oh my God, you're so tall." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I know. I've been laying in bed."
For 10 months.
Yeah, for 10 months. Like, I know how tall I am. Yeah, it was amazing. Being able to move, just move.
All right, can I have a little look at your scars? Are you all right?
With constant challenges and regular hospital visits, Natalie still has a long way to go.
Spread your hand out nice and wide, bring your fingers all in. Are you able to curl your fingers down? Oh, that's better than I last saw it. Well done.
Andrea McKittrick is an occupational therapist at Brisbane's Royal and Women's Hospital. She's been instrumental in Natalie's recovery.
She's a very strong lady, and that's really apparent from her recovery journey, but she's also very determined to be independent again.
Who's the boss here in this relationship?
Depends on what hour of the day. Yeah.
Natalie's strength also comes from the deep sense of injustice she feels. And that's because her father Richard never faced trial for his actions. 2.5 years after his fatal attack, a Supreme Court judge accepted he had suffered a psychotic episode. Diagnosed with a neurodegenerative disease and a depressive disorder, he was found not criminally responsible for the deaths of his wife and grandson and was sent to a mental health facility.
The day that the hearing went ahead was the day I realised, that's it, he's won. That's what it felt like. That he gotten away with murder. He's gotten away with murder.
The law says that your father was unable to reason with what he was doing. He didn't understand that what he was doing was wrong.
I don't believe that for a second.
You say your father knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah. Smoke alarms didn't go off. I honestly 100% believe he took the batteries out of here and took them down. They didn't go off at all.
Natalie feels sidelined by the legal process. Her only contribution was a brief statement to police while she was still badly injured, and the chance to read a victim impact statement at court.
Every day I wake up and see what you have done. I can't escape these scars on my body I am now wrapped in because you lit me on fire.
It is a very sad case, and I have enormous sympathy for Natalie, and I understand her frustration, and I fear that her anguish will probably never resolve.
Natalie is far from alone. Former Supreme Court Judge Anthony Wheatley has ruled on countless cases like hers, where the person who committed the crime is absolved of all responsibility because they are diagnosed as mentally ill.
What tips a person into that space where they're no longer criminally responsible for their
Well, the legal
actions?
test is that they either do not understand the nature and quality of their act, or if they do know what they're doing, that they do not appreciate it's morally wrong. But from the point of view of a victim, they can't see the difference because they've lost someone dear to them and in the most horrendous possible manner, and they cannot accept, in most cases, the forensic justice system at all.
For Natalie Sands, what's most distressing is that for the past 6 months, her father has had the privilege of release.
If someone is that mental that they've gone and slaughtered their own family, then why are you letting them out in the street back into the community? I don't understand that. And I've had members of the public contacting me saying that he's sitting in a pub drinking. My son had not even nearly 6 years of life. And he gets to walk free? That's crazy.
If he is psychiatrically rehabilitated so that he's no longer a danger to himself or to the community, why keep him locked up? What purpose does that serve?
So is that as good as it gets?
What else could we do? Put the person to death who committed the crime when they're insane and not responsible for their actions? We don't do that anymore. Lock them away like we did 100 years ago in an attic somewhere? That's not humane. So this is a problem that can't be resolved, no matter how much sympathy we feel for the victim.
Natalie doesn't want sympathy, she wants change. She's printing T-shirts and is planning to protest, demanding her father be kept out of the community and the system be more supportive of victims like her.
Every time I print a shirt, even if it's not perfect, I'm just like, that's one more shirt for a potential person to come support my loved ones.
We could be sad every day, but we're just happy to be here. We're happy with our family and happy to support her where she's going. We'll be right beside her every step of the way. Oh, that was a beautiful morning.
It was a beautiful morning.
The sun popped up on those clouds.
Someone who's always been there is Natalie's mother-in-law, Nettie, her biggest supporter.
She's fought so hard in her life just to survive, and now she's fighting again.
She doesn't want revenge, but she wants justice for her mum and her son. And herself. She's got to look at herself every day. She's so strong. Strong on the outside, and she's got such a big heart, big soul.
She's not just fighting for herself, is she?
Oh, no. No, she's not. She's fighting for everybody else. She wants justice and she wants it to be right.
On the 4th anniversary of the tragedy, Natalie Sands and her family have come together on their favourite beach.
Here it comes.
To remember Antoinette and Orlando and send messages of love into the sky.
I am Natalie Sands, and you will never beat me. I am my mother. I am my son. I will not rest until this world knows the pain and suffering ye have made. And no one will stop me. My voice will be heard. I will never be silenced. I don't want this to just end in tragedy and sadness. Because what's the point otherwise? If I'm not here fighting, what's the point?
How important is it to you to keep up that fight?
Everything. I only have 2 reasons why I'm alive. 1 is my son, and 2 is to try and do something better than what's already happening. It's a lifetime challenge, but I'm really up for it, I am. I'm not gonna stop.
If this story has raised issues and you need to speak with someone, there is help available. Call 1-800-RESPECT, which is 1-800-737-732.
Hello, I'm Amelia Adams. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for our brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.